Welcome back to part 4 of episode 121 of Smack Talk. The special feature is going to be finisher versus finisher, and we're going to try to figure out who does the best powerbomb in wrestling history. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about every single person that's ever done a powerbomb ever, because that would just take forever.
Oh, fuck.
And, we're not, we don't have that time. But we will highlight some of the people that have made it their signature move, their finisher, somebody who is really recognizable as having a power bomb. And also, we're not going to talk about every single version of a power bomb. We're just going to talk power bombs in general and factor in some of them. But, there's about like 40 different versions of power bombs. So we're not going to be like, who does the best sit-out power bomb and who does the best running power bomb. And holy crap, I mean, maybe down the line when we've run out of ideas for superstar scores a couple of years from now, maybe we'll do that. But for right now, we're keeping it pretty general. Just the power bomb. I have a couple of people that I've listed down as people that I really wanted to bring shed some light upon. And we'll touch upon some other people too. But I'll just throw out two names that I have here that I had written out on smarkoutmoment.com. I already wrote out my big point of view of this whole thing. Scott Hall and Sheamus used the Crucifix Powerbomb. And the Razor's Edge and the High Cross are their moves, respectively. So, Crucifix Powerbombs in general, I think, don't measure up to normal powerbombs. I think that they look like the impact isn't as much. Like, when they have them up on their shoulders, that looks kind of cool because it's doing something different. But the way that they have to lean forward and then just kind of like lightly toss the guy, I've never really been a huge fan of that. It looked cool when Razor Ramon would do that as Razor's Edge. I'm not buying the Sheamus one. You have to kind of almost really launch the guy for it to look effective, and when you do that, it's really dangerous, so people tend not to do that. So I'm not the biggest fan of a Crucifix Powerbomb, so I immediately rule out Sheamus and Scott Hall and Kevin Thorne and all the other people that have done the Crucifix. Let's go around here and talk about Crucifix Powerbombs and these things. Wego, what do you think about them?
I liked Sheamus's because he actually did a bit of a run with them. Scott Hall's was pretty much, I've got you up in the crucifix and I'm slamming you down. But for the most part, I agree with you. You can't just beat the simple flip someone up onto your shoulders and drop them down hard. The crucifix is also one that takes a bit longer to set up, so you can't kind of just come out of nowhere with it for the finish. So I definitely prefer a normal powerbomb over them.
What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, thank God Sheamus doesn't use that as a finisher because I'm not a fan of the crucifix. Same with Scott Hall. I don't know much about Scott Hall, but I've seen his finishers or whenever he used the crucifix, it's kind of like I give it a 4 out of 10. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that. I'm really not a big fan of power bombs in general. But go team.
Really, you don't like the powerbomb?
No, I don't like the way some people use it. The issue I have with it is that there's some people who shouldn't be doing a power bomb as a finisher. To me, you got to be big and strong, and just like some of the power bombs that people use, like my least favorite power bomb of all time, which is the Jackknife power bomb that Kevin Nash does, which we'll talk about later. I just think it looks stupid most of the time.
Oh, let's talk about that one then. What don't you like about the Jackknife?
He's just picking them up and throwing them down. It looks terrible. I understand why older people like it, people who grew up with Kevin Nash, because Kevin Nash was a badass back in the day. But looking back on it now, it looks terrible, and just especially when he did it in TNA or if he's done it in WWE, it's just like, oh fuck, just give up, old man. And like the issue, like especially when he does it with the bigger men, like he just kind of picks them up and just drops them. I don't understand how that's any different than any other power bomb in general for the most part.
I kind of agree with you though. I used to love the Jackknife when I was a kid, but the older I get, the more that I see that he really kind of doesn't do anything. He almost just prevents them from flipping over back onto their face.
It looks kind of half-assed, pretty much. That's what it looks like. It looks like a half-assed regular power bomb.
Like he couldn't hold on to them or something. Yeah, I agree with that. That's actually like the same kind of opinion that I had written out before. You pick them up, lightly toss them. They sort of just free fall on their own.
I actually love the Jackknife.
All right, defend it.
I think it looks cool as hell. You pick someone up. Well, hang on, let me rephrase that. I think it's cool as hell when Kevin Nash does the Jackknife Powerbomb. Because he picks them up, and he's so fucking tall, but it's just a sheer drop. I think it looks cool as hell.
That'd be a good finisher name. The sheer drop.
The sheer drop. God.
I'm using it for my finisher.
Or for seniors, the cheer drop.
So when you try out for WWE, yeah, just go with that.
Pango hits the sheer drop, and he's injured. That's what would happen if I tried to be a wrestler. I'd be so terrible at that. It's ridiculous. 3 people that have a pretty basic power bomb: Vader, Mike Awesome, and Sid. I think they're all kind of generic, but that's a good thing too, because power bombs shouldn't necessarily have to be, crazy, and you don't have to put weird spins on them, or, you just pick somebody up, you slam them down on their back. That's going to look powerful enough as it is. So I really like Vader's and Mike Awesome's and Sid's too. I mean, Sid gets a lot of flack for, his promos and for when he broke his leg and all that kind of stuff, but he does a damn good powerbomb, I think. I'm a fan of it. I especially like when he used to powerbomb Shawn Michaels. There was something weird about that like Shawn Michaels really knew how to took it. How to took it. Jeez.
He knows how to take almost anything.
Yeah. But same kind of thing with Dolph Ziggler. Like, he can take it really well, and he can sell that as something that, like, the way that he lands, it makes it look like if some dude as big as Sid picked you up and threw you down like that, yeah, you'd be out for 3 seconds for sure, if not longer. So I really like them. I didn't give them my win here, but I really like all 3 of those, particularly Sid's. Wego, what do you think about those 3, or generic power bombs in general, if there's other people that you think do a pretty basic one?
Generic power bombs, the only issue is there's one guy who does a power bomb, but it's not his finisher, and that's David Hart Smith. He does it all the time in Japan. It looks sick. I like it as a normal move. I also like Jericho when he used to do a power bomb, but as far as those 3 guys go, I'd probably agree that Sid does the best one.
Drew?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Sid because I've never seen Mike Awesome's powerbomb, and I haven't seen much of Vader, so I really can't.
I didn't like Vader. So I thought it was sloppy.
Well, I think the same thing about Kevin Nash's half-ass powerbomb. So I don't know. I'm just shitting on the powerbomb in general now. I just don't think it should be. I just don't think it should be a finisher. The only cool thing when they do power bombs nowadays is if they do one off the top rope. I think that's the only cool one, and if that should finish the match on its own, but it never does.
I love the power bomb. I think it's one of the best finishers out there.
Same.
You guys are losers.
It's not my number 1, but I think it's up there, top 5.
It's like you crack them in the gut, you spin them upside down so their equilibrium's all fucked, and then you smash them into the ground as hard as you can. It's a cool-ass move.
If you're a big man, it's cool, but if someone I don't know, Randy Orton does a powerbomb, which I've seen him do on a couple occasions, to me it's like Edge's spear. It looks stupid when he does it.
Yeah, true. I wouldn't buy, a Dolph Ziggler pulling off a powerbomb. But yeah, give me Big Show. Fuck.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't mind cruiserweights doing it as long as it's 12 cruiserweights, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I really would want to see a cruiserweight do that to Big Show. So that'd be fucking cool.
Well, like a guy like Daniel Bryan probably could powerbomb Randy Orton if Orton jumped for him, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, also another thing that we have to take into consideration, the luchadors, they're able to do their fancy power bomb esque, not officially a power bomb, but it's kind of a power bomb in a certain way. To be honest with you, I honestly prefer those because they look a lot. I like the way the way it looks more than the actual move itself most of the time. So if it looks cool, I will believe in it. So I would take a luchador's power bomb over a big man's for the most part.
Yeah, I don't agree with the whole sensitive that if it's cool looking, it's a good finisher. So one of the most coolest looking finishers around, not to get too off topic, is the Canadian Destroyer. But as far as a move goes, I fucking despise it. just because of how unrealistic it is.
You know what move in theory looked like it could have been cool because it was just like different, but it's really stupid. And this is going off topic from power bombs or whatever. But that move that MVP did,
Fuck, what did he do?
where he has his foot on the guy's head, and he has his he's holding the hand up.
You're on about the overdrive.
Overdrive, yeah.
That was Orton's finisher when he first debuted.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Moves that have an interesting look, but are
Fucking
completely
awful.
unreliable. Yeah, that's
Sin Cara's armbar.
Like there was a reverse version of that where Ryder used to put the knee on the back of the head, then throw him back. That looked pretty decent, but
Yeah.
the overdrive looks stupid as hell.
Batista Bomb is another one of these different versions of the power bomb. This is a sit-out power bomb, which I think hinders it a lot. Because when he doesn't sit out and he just does a normal power bomb, that tends to look like it's got so much more force to it. But you pick him up, you pick a guy up and you sit out with it, I don't know, you kind of like slow down in the process or something. I'm not a big fan of that at all. I think it kind of makes Batista look weak. Like he couldn't slam the guy down unless he used his own weight to do it or something. So I don't like that. That's one of my least favorite ones. Go.
It's funny, when they're teaching you how to do a power bomb, like a sit down one, the first thing they tell you is don't fucking roll or like lean backwards. And that's the whole premise of Batista's sit down power bomb, or at least it was when he first started using it. He used to kind of roll backwards after he did it and did that awkward fucking pin. I just don't like it just because I know it's not meant to be done that way. And it's, as far as sit out power bombs go in general, they do look a lot weaker unless it's kind of like. Then again, I don't know if this move's considered more of a spine buster. You remember D'Lo Brown's the sky? Was it the sky high where you lift him up in kind of a sit out powerbomb type move?
Maybe I fucking don't know.
I don't remember the name. Might be.
He had the sky high on another move. I'm not sure which one was the top rope move and which one was the powerbomb move. But like, if you're gonna do a sit out move like that, I like it where it's like sudden out of nowhere and it's like got a real snap to it. With it's got so much of a weakened impact already as a powerbomb move that I don't like it. Just how slow it is.
What do you think about that, Drew?
With the sit down power bomb?
Yeah.
I only believe it when Batista does it when he did it on like Rey Mysterio, mainly because it looked badass. Cause he just like fucking as soon as he did the power bomb, he just throw Mysterio like fuck you, and then he go for the pin. So I thought that was cool. But whenever he did it on someone of like equal or bigger size, it just god, it looked terrible.
You know, one of the worst ones when he does it to Umaga at WrestleMania 24. That was terrible.
Tony, it's pronounced Umanga.
Umaga.
Oh wait, actually, now I'm thinking about it. I've seen Batista do just a regular stand-up powerbomb before he did it to Del Rio a few weeks ago, and wasn't the move where he like fractured Cena's neck? Wasn't it as just a regular powerbomb on its own?
He caught Cena on the way down, didn't he? And they he didn't break his neck off that. That was just the angle they used.
Yeah. I don't know, but that okay, just like that angle alone, I thought that was cool, but it just that whole process of it, I thought that was cool, but just most of the time the sit down powerbomb, 4 out of 10.
One different variation that I like a whole lot though is the gut wrench powerbomb that Jack Swagger does. I actually almost gave that the win here for me. There's something about it that the torque that he puts on it, he picks the person up in a believable fashion where they're kind of like limp, so he has to pick up like their dead weight. And
it's a total ragdoll motion.
Right, and when he swings him around, then it makes sense for him to run forward a little bit and slam them forward. And when he falls down doing that, well, that's because he's putting all of his power into like a thrust. And I really like that move. I mean, I like the ankle lock, but at the same time, I think that he should keep that gut wrench powerbomb. That should have continued to be his finisher.
I don't buy that as a finishing move. I buy it as a normal move.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it has enough velocity or impact to be a finishing move, or at least by normal wrestling standards, I mean WWE standards, we have the fucking big ending as a finishing move, so I don't suppose it really fucking matters. But I like it as a signature move, maybe a setup move to the next move. But and I mean, you see, fucking, I'm talking a lot about Japanese wrestling here, but they have the attitude to where they focus on realism a lot, and they see it as just a fucking setup move too.
Wait, what? There's wrestling outside of America? What?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, what? No. Okay.
Just remember, it's more successful than TNA.
Jerry, what do you think about the gut wrench?
I'm drawing a blank of what it is, but does he like kind of like grab him around the waist and just twist him, pick him up, and throw him down? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I like it, but it's just it doesn't feel like it would be a finishing move. It just doesn't feel like there's enough velocity on it in that sense that they could finish someone off.
If someone else did it who was bigger, then I believe it.
If Batista did that, I believe it a lot more than sit down.
The thing that I am going to end up giving my win to is the last ride from Undertaker. And it's kind of a combination of some of the positives from the other stuff. I like that generic power bomb because it's simple, if it's not broke, don't fix it, that kind of thing. But the last ride has that little extra bit of sweetness to it because when he picks the person up and he has them resting on their shoulders and then he lifts them up just a little bit more, I don't know, there's something about that makes it seem cooler. They obviously aren't going up a significant amount of a distance, but it seems like they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember a single time where he's ever botched that move. Maybe because they're high up like that and he can kind of control where they land better, or maybe Undertaker's just that good. But whatever it is, the last ride definitely looks the most powerful to me. So
Well, what you gotta remember, when he does that move, he's holding onto their tights.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So unless their tights rip, they ain't going fucking anywhere.
Well, what would you say about the last ride? Wego?
Definitely my favorite powerbomb. It's just like like a normal powerbomb you buy as a finishing move, but then when Undertaker, like, he's got him up and the fans are all cheering, and then he does that fucking last bit of lift. The fans pop for it, and it just looks so sweet. I think the most impressive I've ever seen it done was probably to Rob Van Dam, because RVD's like a big guy, but he's light enough where Undertaker could ragdoll him around, and it just looks so fucking sweet. And it looks like a scary move to take, and when a move looks legitimately scary to take, it's a fucking believable move.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? When you go on a roller coaster and you think that the ride is going to go a certain way, and then it changes on you.
Yeah.
If you're up on Undertaker's shoulders, that it's like, holy fuck, I'm all the way up here and I'm going to get slammed down. Wait, why am I going higher? Like,
Yeah, because he doesn't just lift you up straight away. He holds you there for a second.
yeah.
Then it's like, and up you go, and you're dead.
And down you go. Do you like that, Drew, though? Is that a different from the other ones?
Yeah, just for the standpoint that it looks believable as like it would kill me because it probably would if Undertaker even now gave me the last ride. It looks, and it feels like the way it's done. It just looks like he's just trying to sing you to hell, like the last ride. Like, oh, this is gonna fucking kill you. It does look like you're getting more elevation than any other power bomb for the most part. And it's kind of like how what Steven said with Kevin Nash. He's so tall. The Jackknife Powerbomb looked like it could actually do something. I mean, Undertaker's pretty tall as well, so when he did it, it looked like, oh, geez, look how fucking high they got in the air when they do it. The only thing person I wish he would have ever done, at least the last ride too, but I've never seen it. If he has done it, was to the Great Khali. I don't know if that's ever happened, but if that were to ever happen, I would pay money to see that.
I don't remember
Khali
him.
probably would botch it for the most part.
You're acting like Carly's got the knees to jump for that.
Yeah, like I said, Khali would botch it most likely. Like, he counts his own pinfalls sometimes, but yeah, I think that'd be a cool one to see if he ever did it.
To the best of my recollection, I don't think that he has. I know he's done it to Big Show and he's done it to Mark Henry, but I don't remember Khali, so he might not
The
have done it.
only time I ever remember Undertaker Khali match was the Punjabi Pearson match that didn't happen because Khali got injured because that was the pay-per-view I went to in like sixth grade. So that's the only one I really could recall that it could possibly be happening at.
The Punjabi prison match that had two white
Big
guys in
Show.
it.
Yeah, Big Show and Undertaker. That was
They covered that so bad as well. It was like, hey, Big Show, you're being a dick. You're in a Punjabi prison.
pretty much.
So before we give our votes, who else does a really good powerbomb that I wasn't thinking of? The only thing that I didn't touch upon really that I know somebody else had mentioned was Awesome Kong with the Awesome Bomb, which she does do a damn good powerbomb herself. So
Yes, ask Christy Hemme. She can't walk anymore.
I do want to say one powerbomb that we haven't talked about, which is the triple powerbomb that the Shield did for a while.
Oh yeah, that's right. I like that.
Yeah, that one was nice. It actually, except they got old when they kept on doing it through the table. But the first one was badass when they did it to Cena.
I think it got old when they kept doing it to Ryback.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
It's like every week Ryback comes out and he just like sets himself up for it. It's
When
like, I
you
know what's
say-
happening.
When he said "feed me more," he meant "feed me more of that table."
Who else though? I'm drawing a blank for somebody else who really like tries to make the powerbomb their own.
Don't you worry about blank. Let me worry about blank.
Blank. I'm not thinking about the big picture. Oh, good old Kennedy joke.
Kennedy.
I love Futurama. But Wago, do you have any other people that come to mind?
I like how Jericho used to do a couple of them in a row, and then the third one he'd just be like, "Nah, fuck it, was a Jericho." That was pretty sweet. And I'm trying to think of someone else. No, off the top of my head now.
I recall Cena doing a nice powerbomb.
You know what move's cool where you set him up for the powerbomb, but you don't actually drop him forward, you drop him like all the way over the alley-oop. That's a pretty sweet move too.
What was it that Big Show used to call that when he would do that? Is that the showstopper?
He's called the chokeslam the showstopper for a while, so I have no fucking clue.
God knows. Well, since we can't think of anybody else, if we did forget somebody, leave a comment about that. But we're going to go around here. Who wins finisher versus finisher? Who makes that their own? Who does the best power bomb out there and is worthy of being the master of the power bomb? I'm voting Undertaker's Last Ride. Drew?
Undertaker's Last Ride, but that's because that's the only decent one out of the bunch. Because powerbombs fucking suck.
Wago?
The Undertaker's free gongs.
The power went out. What's going
We're
on?
also known as the Last Ride,
It's a unanimous decision. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, plug.
which is returning.
We're all going with Undertaker's Last Ride. If you disagree or you agree, leave a comment below and tell us what you think. We are going to have one more segment left for this episode where we talk some Fantasy League stuff, and then we'll be saying goodbye.